we have a great panel of guests. I just want to say directly to all my guests on the show, thank you so much for all you guys for supporting me, and thank you for much taking the time out of your day to be part of the show. Topic tonight, a great topic for you guys tonight. But let's go ahead and introduce the beautiful intellectual guests. I'll start with the ladies real quick. So I'll start with you, Irene. You can go ahead and introduce yourself real quick.
Hi, I'm Irene. I'm from Arizona. I work in the behavioral health field. What else? That's about it. And I'm here I love debating topics, but I'm for propelling our Polynesian people forward.
All right, nice. And what kind of poly are you, Irene, if you don't mind?
I beg your pardon?
What kind of poly are you? Like poly?
Poly?
Yeah, like you ethnicity.
Oh, my ethnicity. Okay. So I have Fijian and Tongan, Chinese, and some Samoan.
All right, nice. All right. Thank you, Irene. Thank you so much. All right, go ahead, Leah. Introduce yourself real quick.
Hi, I'm Leah. Sorry, on my way home right now. If there's noise. I'm Tongan. I'm a mom, and I'm currently going through a divorce. Lots of things going on. I'm also a caregiver, and I am based in San Jose. So that's a little bit about me.
All right. Thank you so much, Leah. And Leah, and you're Tongan, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Nice. All right. Thank you so much, Leah, for jumping on. Tui, people already know people may know who you are, so already recognize you. But go ahead, Tui.
I know.
Introduce yourself.
My name is Tui Sina. I work in communications. I'm in Waina, Hawaii. And for those of you who are watching from my Instagram, you already know. Right. Oh, I'm Samoan, Hawaiian, some Japanese, German. You know how it goes.
Yep, you already know what I'm talking about. Already starting shit. All right, now Joe. All right, love it. I love it. Thank you so much, Tui. Thank you so much for jumping on. And like I said, I'm gonna go ahead to the go ahead. Xiaoxi, introduce yourself real quick, Xiaoxi.
Yeah, Xiaoxi Venmo. I'm here in San Diego, and anything you know about me, you already know.
Boss status. That's the alpha energy right there. All right. Thank you so much, Xiaoxi. And last but not least, Savage, go ahead and introduce yourself real quick.
Hello, my name is Savage Island. Peace and honor to the ancestors who've come before us. This content is not suitable for the children under the age of 18 without adult supervision. I feel that I must disclose that. Anything I will say is authentic and comes from my heart. I'm not influenced by any other force but my own. I would just like to say I'm only here because Will said he'll give me my green card. That's it.
Hey, I'm trying to look for mine too. So we're both in the same boat. fresh up the boat. All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much for all you guys. I love your introductions. But nevertheless, let's go ahead. Let's start the show. All right, time is limited. Let's get it, y'all. Let's get it. So you guys already know the topic at hand is Faikava in Western society, stagnating the growth of Polynesian men. All right, so that was the topic. That's the topic at hand that we're going to talk about, and also we're going to also talk about growth on different aspects of our lives, and only on Faikava after the Faikava topic. But pretty much when I think this topic came, it was me and Irene. We had a conversation. And we're just talking about growth. We're talking about Pacific Islander community, and we just talked about Faikava and how Faikava is a beautiful part of our Polynesian culture. But now, today, modern society, there are certain individuals. I'm not saying all. I want to make sure everybody correct. I'm not saying all. I'm saying there are certain Kava clubs and certain individuals that are showing certain behaviors. And and if you talk to a lot of women, there's a stigma, there's a stigma when it comes to Faikava clubs now in modern society, where they associate infidelity, they associate violence, and all these things that happen to some Kava clubs. And we wanted to bring up, and also a lot of times, and that was a topic we discussed also. Sometimes there's a lot of Polynesian men out there that's all they do, they Faikava, and it kind of affects their growth in their life. So I heard it from both the men and the women. And a lot of women voiced their concerns, and a lot of men. But that's the topic at hand that we're going to start off the show. Is Faikava in Western society? Is it stagnating the growth of Polynesian men? And since Irene, you brought up the discussion, I started off with you. I guess I started off with you to open up the topic with us. What are your thoughts about the topic?
Well, I thought the topic was an opportune time to discuss like the benefits of it and the challenges. And what I've been hearing is a lot of the effects that it has had on relationships and the effects on children. And so it's taken away a lot from the family and has affected the community. And so that was my concern, is the ripple effect from the ongoing Faikava that takes place, which has gone from something that was traditional to more like a ongoing social, let's say, event that takes place, that takes precedence over some of the time that could be spent at home with the family or doing things productively for themselves.
Mhm. Okay. All right. I'm gonna go ahead to Tui. What are your thoughts, Tui, about the topic?
People are gonna do what people are gonna do, and Faikava, the modern way of Faikava is a subculture to our culture. So it's not actually how it's done. It's what's become acceptable amongst our people. And I don't think it's the reason for, what am I trying to say? It's not the reason for why men act the way they do, but it creates this bubble that allows them to act this way. But it's just so much more. Like, I'm going to touch base on the mental health aspect. And
Okay.
I want to be careful what I say when I say this, but Polynesian men are almost suppressed by our people in our culture. Like our culture doesn't foster growth outside of our culture. So that's
Okay. When you said the suppression part, oh, I see other people. What do you mean? Like what do you mean?
yeah, like I feel like I should find a better word, because I have to be careful with stuff like that, because people take that out of context. But men in Polynesian culture, like, they know what to do, they know how to act. Like, the mentality, you find a wife, you have a family, you get a job, you support that family.
Mhm.
But the problem is we're not fostering growth in the way of pushing our young men to our adult men
Okay.
to go further than yate. Not that there's anything wrong with yate work, everybody.
Yeah.
But that's an example. Construction, yate work. This is what's acceptable to our people. We don't push our men to look at anything else. Like, they don't. Our people are very intelligent people, but we don't foster growth as a culture for men. For women, yes. Like, I need to stop saying like. So for women, our culture is like, yes, go to college, explore what's out there. For our men, go to college, play sports, get your degree, but then come back and this is what you're going to do. So,
Okay.
there's no real room for growth for our men. And so places like Kalapus, I'm not saying that Kalapus are all bad, but because Kalapus do things like fundraisers, right, for families, for certain functions. I know all that.
Yeah.
But it also allows men to act a certain way.
Gotcha. All right. And before we move on to the next person, I do want to ask Irene, because I know you know a lot about the Kava traditions and culture. What was the purpose of Faikava originally?
Well, Faikava traditionally was a social drink, but it was done for formal protocols in Fiji and Tonga originally. And I did share with you that it became more popular when Christianity came into play.
Okay.
Right. And in Tonga, it was for courting purposes.
Mm.
So originally that's what it was. If there was a young man or suitor that was interested in a young woman, he would actually come and seek permission through the uncles and the father via the Faikava activity. And so because they couldn't date publicly, and so the girl that was serving the drinks was actually the woman that he was pursuing. And so in different nights, the different suitors would come along to swoon this young lady over. And so the men, the father and the family would decide based on the genealogy and the clan of the guy, the suitor that was coming for their daughter's hand in marriage.
Okay. Okay, so that was the purpose of the Faikava Club, was to be able
Courting
to
purposes.
courting purposes and be able to talk to the father. All right.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. And how did and then the Christianity was what led to, I guess,
More
the modern,
social,
more
social,
social-
modern social drinking. Correct.
and drinking. Okay. All right. Got it. All right. Yeah, just for everybody out there watching right now, if you don't know where Faikava came from, that's where traditionally that's how it originated. All right. Thank you so much, Irene, for sharing that. I know that was one of the main questions a lot of people was reaching out to me, asking about the originality of Faikava. Daniela, if you're watching this right now, I see your name popping up in the waiting room. Just hold on tight. Let me just go through all the panel guests, and I'll be able to have you jump on and be part of this conversation. Daniela Lautaha, and I see your name. All right, real quick. So we're gonna Leah. Yeah, what are your thoughts about the topic?
About how Faikava
Yeah.
causes men to be stagnant.
Yeah.
I honestly think I am for Faikava. And as for being stagnant, I think that's an individual thing. It's not fair to say that Faikava causes men to be stagnant. I think everyone can be responsible for their own choice. It's just like, it doesn't matter where you go. If you're going to go to the club or to, school or Faikava, there is good and bad influence everywhere, and to each their own. Each person should be able to decide whether or not they'll participate there and what they will do there and how that will influence their life. But I'm pro Faikava, but that's probably because I'm such a fob. I'm from the island. I'm not really sure how Faikava works out here in the States or in any other big country. So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Faikava is a great tradition that we have. It's just sometimes I think, like you said, certain individuals abuse it, and it affects their life, right? They don't have self-discipline. So go right into the fellas. Savage, what's your thoughts, Savage?
So staying away from tradition, and of course the story of Fafa Fevanga or Kavakilia, like I do want to stick to being first generation. Where we're at right now in modern society with Kava, is it stagnating us? I don't believe so. I mean, if anything, we're more experimental here in America. I'm not going to speak on places like Australia or New Zealand, or even back home in Tonga or Hawaii or Samoa or Fiji or anywhere else, but just here specifically in America. There's a lot of bad connotation, stigma behind it. Usually around the men who go there and, leave their wife at home. It has built a stereotype of its own, and it's taken up a life of its own. And it sucks, it obviously sucks, but is it stagnating us as far as, the men or those who participate in the Faikava culture? I don't believe so. If anything, I think it's still so new to a point that we're just now having bars. We have a bar here in Las Vegas, Nevada. I think it's Ninth Island Kava, and people still don't even know what Kava is. And when they hear about it, they know the ceremony part of it. They don't know that it's actually used to socialize. Me being first generation born here and hearing the old stories and hearing the tradition, but not ever participating in it, is it shameful at times when you hear this? Yes, because it takes away from the unique, the mystery, or how would I say, the mystique behind it. Because to a point, it's really spiritual. It's really spiritual, and in that sense, if it's not stagnating, it is kind of desensitizing the Kava culture.
Mm-hmm.
That part, that kind of does suck, because it shouldn't be a thing like, hey, we're going to fight Kava. Better let your wife know. You better let your wife know.
Yeah.
You know what happened last week? Siona and them, they went crazy last week. And then trust me, I participated in some crazy things. I've seen some crazy things. I've heard even more crazier things. Is that a good thing? No, but I don't believe it's stagnating us. If anything, we're still in the experimental phase of how Kava can push us forward as far as a social thing, a Faikava thing, because I think it's more of a, I hope and pray that it becomes more medicinal instead of being prescribed to, hey, go and take this medication because you're dealing with these kind of pains and mental issues. No, hey, how about you go to Sione's house? They have a Faikava session there every other week. And, it's really proven to help people with their depression and their mental health issues. I hope and pray that's where we can get to one day. But as far as stagnating us, I don't believe so.
All
Always
yeah.
a Sione.
Always Sione.
Always
Always.
Sione.
Sione. All the Siones out there.
Sione something.
Yeah. Always Sione. Blame Sione. All right, no, thank you so much, Savage. And yeah, and just to go off what you said, yeah, I've seen it too. Like, I've seen things happen in the Faikava Club, but that there's like I think somebody sent me a message on the DM. He said like the analogy like guns don't kill people, people kill people. It's like the Kava is not at fault. It's individual choices of people are making in the groups that's doing these things. So. But last but not least, Chelsea, what's your thoughts? Chelsea?
Thoughts. Well, first of all, Irene, thank you for bringing that back. You brought me back lots of memories being in Kava ceremonies, and back in Tonga, also here in the States. And wow, what a topic, right? But really, when it comes down to is what's missing in somebody's life that they need something to go disturb themselves or take place of, right? You really got to take a look what might be missing. I'm not saying this is what's happening, but we want to consider there's something missing in a relationship or missing in their life that they have to go sit around and enjoy themselves. Or maybe there's nothing missing, right? But so the way that I look at it, there's absolutely nothing wrong with what we have in terms of in the islands and back and here in the States. It's all about the intention. What are the intention and why are they going there for? Got that? Mm-hmm. Whatever their intention is their intention, whether it is for courting somebody or just to hang out. What I really want to consider, have you guys consider is what is missing in their life. Like what goal is not being met? Why are they stopped at this point? And the other side, is there anything wrong with it? Maybe not. And I have it that we're having this kind of conversation. And I in the midst of this conversation, what I was thinking about is why are we having people that are actually going out to Kava clubs participating in this conversation? The difference would have made is if people were participating in the Kava ceremonies or here in the States, it would make a difference because we're just having a round and around the conversation instead of having those that really affect or those that are participating in the Kava ceremonies, have them be heard. Right? Because we can sit here, we can punch this until it falls down and give us whatever it is, but really doesn't do any good if we're not interacting with who they are. In other words, we get into the world and we see what they're going through. Because I have it in this conversation here, we're all rolling the same ball. Like, get people to participate in this type of conversation. You want to get both ends so that we walk with something that's powerful.
Yeah.
Right. So let me ask you guys real quick before Daniela, I want to add you real quick. I just want to ask one last question to the panel before I bring you in. So I guess my question is like, what is the solution, right? So like, because from a lot of the feedback I got from a lot of the women, they're tired of the men going out there and cheating or flirting with the doa or flirting with the girls at the Faikava clubs. A lot of the feedback I got was like the men wasting their time at these Faikava clubs and they're at home taking care of the children and they're just wasting their time and not doing anything productive. So what's the solution, right? Because I know there was a lot of people that were pro Kava. A lot of men reached out to me. They're upset with me talking about this, and because they thought I was negatively talking about Faikava, and I had to let them know, no, Faikava is a great thing, but you can't but you can't ignore the fact that the reality is like there's some certain Kava clubs and certain men out there that's behaving in this way. That's not a great representation, not only for themselves as an individual, as a human being, but also for the tradition of Faikava. So what is the solution? Because
Can I say something?
Go ahead, Irene.
So when I think of Faikava, is there a purpose and objective of why they're getting together? What is the purpose of them getting together? In the olden days, what I was told growing up, my grandfathers and them used to sit in a circle and they discussed and debated philosophy, and they debated the things that were happening in that time in Tonga. So
Yes.
when I think of Faikava, I always think, okay, so what are the positive things we can get from the men coming together? Is it networking, when they're coming together, other than their natural support of therapy, because sometimes we're away from home and stuff like that. Therapy, is it for weddings? Is it for funerals? I get that. But when it becomes something where they're doing on a every weekly base, on a weekly basis, that's their planned activity. And I think about how many hours are spent in the Kava session with the men. When you think about, okay, so what about the time for the children? And what about the time for the wife, right? We even had some of I think Tui said something about the men doing yati. I had an uncle who started that when he was in college, and he hired all the other students to come and earn extra cash while they were studying to do that. And then he made a business out of it. And then he went into another venture. And I think if the Faikava session was something that they got, was there for a purpose to, maybe to propel them as far as business-wise, networking, moving forward, how do we fix our community? How do we, improve ourselves, being mentors for our young men? I can see the women going along with it. I can see them appreciating, that part of why their husbands are there or why their partners are there too.
Yeah, but I think that goes back to the communication part, right?
Correct.
And if men are walk away from their family to go to a Kava weekly, whether it's twice a week, once a week, right? I have it that the foundation of communication is not there, right? There's no platform for communication. So if we sat down, we had some kind of platform that here's how we're going to communicate when you do things, you tell me, like that kind of, right? There's no platform for communication. And we have it that all the alphas just do what they do.
Yeah.
There's not an opening or clearing to have communication where what the wife says matter and what the husband says matter. We're going back to the alpha thing. We just do what we do because that's all we know. And we're stuck in this world because we keep following that way of being. I'm the man of the house. I provide. You shut the hell up. You stay at home, and I'm going to do what I do.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to take a look. Not we here, but all of us and the rest of all of Polynesian really have to sit down and truly get and understand what it takes to take on your communication, so that lens is powerful.
Yeah.
That I love you and you love me. And so there's no yelling, there's no argument, there's just a conversation, a clear conversation, so that the wife can take care of what the wife needs to do and the husband takes care of what he needs to do. So it goes back, it's always been about communication. We just haven't figured out how to really deal with communication, and that we don't take it personal. Because that's what Tongan men knew is we are the one that run the house. What I say goes. So we truly have to take a look at the way we communicate. What is it about us men that have it that we have to be the hammer in the family?
Yeah.
Right? This is a true partnership in here in the States. And the partnership doesn't mean that he gets to do what he needs to do, but really a conversation of how can I help you? How can I help you? How can you help me? It's partnership. And in partnership, you don't get to go and do what you do and what you feel like you need to do and leave the family at home. Once again, that's a conversation that we as individuals, as people here in the States, need to take a look at, because we're bringing the old way of being I rule the house. It's my house. I make the money. You shut the hell up and let me do what I do. You might want to take a look. And for those that are listening, whether it's now or tomorrow, just you might consider sitting down and really think about what is it about me or what is it about you that has you do what you do and you leave the family behind. And you go to your own adventure, like going to the Kava Club and doing what you do, instead of spending the quality time that Irene was talking about, spending that quality time with the family and the wife. So you can build something new instead of coming from something old, leaving away with something old and never building a new legacy.
Yeah, I love what Irene said that we've lost the purpose, right? The purpose of Faikava.
Yep.
And just reflecting on my own experience, right? Like I remember, you know, when I grew up, I didn't even know what the purpose of Faikava was. All I knew was a place where we just go and there was a doa and we just sit around and talk and have fun, right? But there wasn't an objective. There wasn't. I wasn't taught the purpose of the reason of what Faikava was. And as I got older, for me, and then for me, as I got older and I wanted to grow and become a better man myself, I realized a lot of the conversations that we had. I started to lose interest in Faikava because I was around these guys that we were just talking about. We're just talking, but there was no application in our life. It was all talk. So like we're all sitting here, and then almost some of them were just like complaints, self-pity, pity parties, talk about their struggle, talk about their problems, which is fine if you want to be open up and express yourself. But then for me, I was like, we talk about the same things every weekend. You know, it's like, what are we actually doing with our lives to improve? Like, okay, we talked about it last week. Are you applying these things in your life? And for me, it just got like, it just, you know, for me, I was like, man, this is not benefiting my life at all as a person. So that's why I stopped going. And plus, the things I saw, you know, people infidelity, you know, cheating and all that stuff. I saw that too. So I was like, you know, this is I said on my video, this is not an environment for me that's gonna help me. So I love the Kava Club, but I just realized like it wasn't a productive, a positive environment for me to grow as a Pacific Islander, as an Islander, but also as a man. So now I was like, I stay away from Kava clubs. And I wish I knew the purpose of Kava Club was to court, man. There's a couple girls in the past I could have, their dads were big Faikava fans. So I could have just walked up to their house. hey, dad. Want to drink some Kava? I wish somebody taught me that purpose. Oh man, now I know. Oh no, it's good to know. I don't have to go on my list. Okay. Anyways, Daniela, if you're watching this right now, I'm about to have you jump on. I know you've been waiting patiently, so thank you so much for waiting patiently, Daniela. Hope you're ready. And you can jump on real quick and express and share your thoughts, or if you have something to say to one of our panel guests. So
I just want to say something really quick.
Go ahead.
Faikava, the Faikava is not the issue. The issue is the people that go.
Yeah.
Like, because like I'm reading some of these chats, and I never said I wasn't okay with Faikava. That's not the problem. So just for everyone who's watching, I don't think there's anything wrong with Faikava.
At the same time, what we're doing here is not making people that go to Faikava wrong. You guys hear that? Like in this conversation, this is not a conversation about what's right and what's wrong. It's an inquiry.
Yeah.
It's an inquiry of what we could do to make things different. Not a sense of I'm going to blaming that I'm judging somebody else for doing what they're doing.
Absolutely.
Got that? We're not judging who they are. We're having them take a look at what they can do from here on to transform their way of being and be different. If they want to. This is not a you have to.
Yeah.
If they want to.
Yeah, Savage, go ahead real quick.
I gotta say this. I gotta say this out loud so I don't forget it. So I can remember watching this later and I do it. We need to make an app to find the local kalapus that you want to go to. We have to have said it again. Make an app, voice note to myself. Make an app to find local kalapus. Thank you.
Thank you.
Savage, tap in with me later. I got you.
All right, Daniela. I'm about to let you in, man. Hope you're ready. And thank you for waiting patiently. I'm gonna have you jump on right now, Daniela. And Daniela, you are joining us right now.
There
There we go. Hey,
Hey, shut
Daniela.
off. Shut off and malolele, everyone.
What's up, Daniela? Where you from, Daniela?
I'm from New Zealand and currently I'm tuning in from
For sure.
Kia ora.
Auckland. So I have to wait until work to tune in, and funnily enough,
Oh, you're not
right
in the
on
video,
time.
are you?
Go ahead. Go. It's all you, Daniela. Go ahead. Thank you for jumping on. Go ahead.
Hey, thank you for the time. I just wanted to touch on what I think Irene spoke about, and also Savage. And I think there's a big importance in understanding where the origin of kava has come from, and then go from there. Because I think kava has been modernized into a almost similar to Chinese whisper, where that meaning have sort of translated over time and become less and less what it was, and become more of what it is. There's actually a lot of different Faikava and call for Faikava. The modern day Faikava at the moment is a mixture of the courtship Faikava and what was called the kabatau. And the kabatau was divided into two, also as courtship. The kabatau was meant for the kautua. After each and every day, they would come home, get their family ready for whatever it was, and they would go and fight cover. And the point of that fight cover was to discuss and, in a sense, become cocky of their accolades and what they've achieved. For example, the farmer would come to the fight cover and go, man, the harvest this week the yam was this size. And it was a form of inducing camaraderie, but also to share a little bit of their talent with each other. Sorry if I go back from Tongan to English. I'm still fresh in a sense. So part of my talk tonight will be a bit mixture of Tongan. Now, I want to go back to the origin. The origin has been watered down due to Christianity, but the origin of Kava wasn't actually a daughter of Whevanga and Whiwhafa. Kava was marooned where Whevanga and Whiwhafa was, and the reason why is she was a product of incest at that specific time of the two tuitonga. It was a male and a woman tuitonga at the time, and their relationship with each other was Kava became the product, and their father, who was ashamed of this, marooned Kava. And that's what, if you guys have ever had the privilege of being part of the olden day Kava, of the Faikava, you would usually, if someone was to swear or to do something really inappropriate during the Faikava, you would hear them say, "Hu whangahe Kava." And the reason why they say that, it's because she's actually the most purest Tuitonga blood. Not only that, she was the only female, and she was the fahu of Tonga. She was the royal fahu of Tonga. That's why Kava is such a big taboo for us in a sense. When Kava was killed and sacrificed to the Tuitonga, and the Tuitonga heard of this, and as the story progressed to the tree of the To and the Kava, the first Faikava was to initiate the Tuitonga of that time. And you would notice from ever since then till now, no Tongan Tui would ever be legitimized without a Faikava.
Oh.
That's why I think it's very important to know the origin. It's not a widely known story, and I'm privileged that I got to. I'm currently in a Kava Kalapu with a Matapule to the house of Ma'afu as part of the Kalapu that
Awesome.
and he shares all these stories, and I think all of you guys are right. The state of Faikava at the moment is going in a place that we don't want especially our Pasifiki men to go. And like Siaosi's saying, we need to really look at, why do we go to Faikava? Is it because we're missing something in our lives? what's so important about Faikava. And the reason why I really wanted to tune in, our kalapu is actually, it's the first kalapu to not involve a toa. We do most of our kalapu during lockdowns and do it through Zoom. And we push initiatives to help our people. One of the biggest initiatives they pushed here in Usila was for the kauova. And they pushed it all the way to Parliament, where Parliament now addressed it, and they're now looking at giving amnesty to the tens of thousands of kauova that's currently living here. Because one of the things that we noticed during our first lockdown Zoom was that a lot of the overstayers here were reaching out to people because now they're out of job, they don't have the help of the government with benefits and whatnot. And we thought, hey, you know, this could be a pivot for us as a Faikava kalapu. We need to get away from this old narrative of men sitting around the circle and, you know, whareria to the toa, because what's that going to do? That's, you know, our kaumali and our relationship with our family is already as bad as it is. So we need to pivot in a way where we men are helping each other, empower each other, and not only that, translate that to our people. And ever since then, the kalapu have just grown, you know, from men in their 80s all the way to teenagers who want to join the kalapu. It's right intention. And, you know, if people go into the kalapu intending to go to the toa and you know, all that we've seen already, of course that kalapu is going to, you know, follow that sort of narrative. But I think also the most important question that you asked, well, is, you know, what could be the solution for that? I think we need more men in power, you know, men that are willing to say, hey, kau tangata, tuloa dupe, but we need to change this. You know, how about we talk about the guy that got killed that is part of who and whose family? You know, how do we address violence in our area? Or how can we tokoni to our kids that are getting caught up in gangs and whatnot? And, you know, you may be laughed at the kalapu, but then come away from it and take the kava as your tool and approach different people and say, hey, let's sit down and Faikava, but let's do it in a way where we're actually going to help each other.
Yeah, I love what you said, Daniela. It's like it's getting back to the purpose, right? Make Faikava purposeful and taking initiative. That's something that's starting to miss, missing in the Western kalapus. And a shout out to your Kava Club. Anybody want to respond to Daniela?
Yeah,
No,
100%, man. Yeah, go ahead, Irene.
Oh no, I was just saying thank you for the background. Because some of that I didn't even know.
Yeah,
Christianity
I think it's
will do that.
beautiful, and thank you for bringing all that knowledge and dropped it on us, like, you know, the mic drop information, right?
Right.
And you know, going back to what your last message is, how do we get men empowered that when they go into a kalapu, the conversation is different. That there needs to be a transformative conversation that people get, so that way that they're empowered. In the way that I'm seeing kalapu here now, in the younger generation, is it's all up for grabs. It really doesn't mean anything. It's such a fad at this moment that it's just they're taking on whatever that they're doing because it's kind of cool. But how do we, like you said, Daniela, is how do we get young men to really take this platform of the kava ceremony and making it so powerful that each man that walks into the club walks away differently. So you're talking about the future generation and how we get to deal with them. What is needed is more conversation of how to become leaders.
Exactly.
Leadership, right? So if we don't teach young men to become leaders for themselves and leaders for their family, leaders for their community, that does not exist, will not exist in the next 10 years. Right? The ball is already rolling. It started rolling back in the 80s when I got into the United States. And it's gotten bigger and bigger in the BS of it. So we need to have this sub-conversation a lot more than ever in teaching kids in the next generation to become leaders for themselves, that they make a difference, that they all show up as leaders in their own way, that they have a dominant effect when they speak in the word that comes out of their mouth, in the word of empowerment. What do we do? Like you said, what do we need to do for our family? What's really happening? How can we, this is where the conversation needs to go. So Danielle, you're on point with that. And thanks for saying that out loud, because it makes a difference.
Thank you. Yeah, that was good, Daniela. I like how you said you had a mata pule at that Faikava, and there was an educational process that took place where he handed information from him to you.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? And I think some of that education can happen in the Faikava session where we're still passing down those, truths, those cultural protocols that have been missed along the way as people have migrated out of Tonga, right? We need our elders to also step up and do the educational part and lead for the younger generation. Yeah, because it's our identity. It's who we are.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to go off what Daniela and Xiaoxi said, like in the leadership, I totally agree with it. We need more leadership. We need more leaders, people to step up, to take initiative. And also, like, we need more men to not be afraid to be different. Because to be a leader, you have to
be men.
Yeah, you have to be a leader. You can't be a follower. Just follow what everybody else is. You got to stand by your morals, your values, and what is right. And that's something I really appreciate everybody here having this conversation, and Xiaoxi and everybody here, that we're doing something against the norm of the Pacific Islander community. And it's gonna be a hard thing to do, but it's something that's necessary. Because because all it needs is like a domino effect. What Xiaoxi said, all it needs one person to do it. One person does it, somebody will see it.
That's a part of the issue, though, right? Because it does fall to our elders, right, Irene? It does. But our elders, everyone wants to be a chief. No one wants to be the Indian. So at the same time, we can't all be followers. But the problem is finding someone to lead that people are going to respect. And it can't be women in our community, because women in itself, we cannot, a man will not follow a woman, realistically. So, and in our culture, in our society, we need strong men for the survival of that society, right? So who does it fall to? I'm just throwing that out there as like my opinion. I'm sorry.
Well, first of all, I want to acknowledge what you said about women not being able to become leaders, and I have it. That's BS, especially in the Polynesian community. Like your voice is just as, because you're a leader at this moment. You are a leader at this moment. You're on this platform because you have it. We all have it, that you're part of it. Your leadership exists somewhere. And your word that comes out of your mouth is powerful. Don't have it that only men have the say in your life, because what you say is powerful, right? Every woman at this point in this point of time in life, we can all contribute to the next generation, simply by standing up and saying what you need to be said, because it needs to be heard. Don't discount yourself from this conversation, right? Because we all are the one that's having this conversation. So don't take any power away from someone that's listening.
So I just want to clarify, because this is the issue that always happens when I say stuff like this, right? I'm not saying that women cannot lead. But realistically, in a society like ours, because our Polynesian culture is not a big society, right? So when I say women can't be leaders, I mean we need strong men for us to follow, to take their lead, because we push our men. We make you guys great. It takes a strong woman to help her man lead. That's what I mean. I'm not saying that we're not leaders. You know what I mean? So like I always have to elaborate on like. So anyone who's watching, especially my females, especially females who do follow me on Instagram, you already know what I mean.
I understand where you come from too, because the majority of the kava drinkers are the men, right? So no, of course, women can make an impact on this, but there's a bigger, I believe, if a man does it, there's also bigger impact, because the majority of the kava drinkers are the men. So Savage, you have something to say?
I just wanted to say thank you for Daniela speaking that, because not only is that now recorded, it's a part of history. My son can look back at this and watch it. It's important that we, distinguish or identify myth to fact. I had no idea that Kava was tapu in the sense that, the story I'm growing up with Fefafa and Fevanga, like, oh yeah, it's a beautiful story. They sacrificed the daughter to feed the king. Hearing that now, it not only, I've been working a lot on a lot of decolonization as far as a lot of theories that I have to go back on, things that I've learned from my grandparents versus things that I've learned from books, things that I've learned from Westernization. And, I'm not going to lie, more and more that I keep tapping back into the past, I tried not to get emotional when he was speaking about it, because all I could think about was the twisting of the history, how, Chinese whisper, it passes down and then it changes, then it changes, and then it changes. For the fact that, you spoke that, of course, a lot of people are going to watch this and be like, why the hell did that guy say it? He's trying to demonize Kava. No, that's not what it is. It's just giving you some insight about where Kava starts from and how we can make it better now, because that's the point, right? The solution is, how do we make it better from here? We can do that now. So I just wanted to tell you, Daniela, man, and I appreciated that. Thank you.
Hey, Daniela, thank you so much for jumping on and sharing your opinion. Really much love to you.
Just
Yeah.
before you
Daniela.
push me up, I just want to say, in terms of women in Kava, there's actually a Kalapu Kava Tonga here that's run by all women. It's
Yes,
called the
I heard
Kalapu
about
Silent
them.
Whistle. And
Yes.
it's Kalapu Longo Mapu. So women are taking the space as leaders in their own right. And I support what Tui is saying, because she is right. We need strong men, and strong men can only be raised by other strong men. And also at the same time, not discrediting what Xiaoxi's saying. Xiaoxi's absolutely right. We live in an era where it's a partnership between men and women, that women can become leaders. And oftentimes as men, we often need our women to hold us accountable. And I think along the same vein as Xiaoxi's saying, I both agree. And this is the other thing that people need to realize. We need to listen to understand and take in other people's point of view. You might not, agree, but get your feelings out of your, out of your system and process things in a way that it will make sense to you. Because when you get in your emotion, you become the self-righteous, I'm right, you're wrong, type of attitude, and you can't move forward if there's no growth mindset in there. So that's all I have to say before I get booted
Daniela,
off. So
hey, Daniela,
everyone.
Daniela,
Thank you,
so much.
Daniela.
Thank you.
All right, Daniela.
Thank you.
Daniela.
All right, have a good one. Yo, Afat.
That was pretty awesome, guys.
Oh, that was awesome, man. All the way from New Zealand, dropping bombs, dropping facts.
I know. So interesting.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I see Ipo. I see you on the waiting room right now. Ipo, I'm gonna come to you. Let me just transition to the next topic. But real quick, I see there's about 20 people watching right now, and I see a big problem. 20 people watching. There's only 4 likes on the channel. Come on, y'all.
Oh yeah.
You're already watching. Don't make it weird. Don't make it weird.
Don't be suspicious.
Yeah.
Just hit the likes. We're not gonna say anything until you guys like it. We're not gonna say nothing.
Man, just ninja watchers over here. You're already watching. Just like it's free. Just like the channel. Just like and subscribe.
I know.
Man.
Get those subs up.
Come on, you're already watching this right now. But anyway, like I said, it's your choice. Yeah, I'm not entitled. But yeah, much love. Thank you so much. But nevertheless, let's transition to the next topic, because the topic at hand was stagnation and growth. I do want to talk on a topic that's kind of big, that's occurring in our Polynesian community, is mental health. Right, mental health. That's something that's happening a lot within our community. Mental health issues, depression, the rate of suicide is one of the, in our Polynesian community, the suicide rate compared to every other ethnicity or race is ridiculously high in the Pacific Islander community if you look at the statistics. But I do want to talk about mental health, because that's something I always hear about from my generation and from a lot of people, how a lot of Pacific Islanders can't express themselves to their parents, to their elders, to have a platform to speak their opinions, and that affects themselves mentally. I do want to open up that topic with Savage, mental health, how mental health is stagnating or affecting the growth of Pacific Islanders. And I'll start with you and open it up with you, Savage. Go ahead.
I'm gonna just speak. I'm gonna take this time and then just really speak from experience. Growing up, there was no representation besides The Rock, Troy Polamalu, guys of this nature. It wasn't authentic to see them fall, make a mistake, and bounce back from it. So as far as the guys growing up and watching in my lifetime, you know, I'm watching nothing but negativity, pure negativity, no solution, no way out of it. And when you're just around nothing but negativity, all you just see is the flaws in everything and no solution. And as far as stagnation and how we can progress forward, it really takes you to hit the bottom of the bottom. Like for instance, so I work with the school district, and a lot of my methods and when I train kids, or whether it's athletic training or in the PE classes, I take it personally upon myself to drain them physically. I will tire them out. I'll go through a breathing exercise. I'll sit them down. They'll breathe a little bit, and then when they're ready, I'll have them in a way kind of meditating to think about some things that they want to work on. And at some point, you know, throughout the season, you know, things can get emotional to where they start to realize things that they see as flaws within themselves, and they begin to correct. And then all of a sudden, they become a new person. I don't take credit in that, but it's really about attacking one's personal, how would I say, inefficiencies. If I'm a Tongan man and all I see is other Tongan men around me talking about it but not being about it, eventually I will fall in line and do the same thing. However, I could change whether it's the statistic or the order by saying, no, not today. I'm gonna do something different. I am gonna go do that thing they said not to do. I am gonna do the thing that I've always wanted to do, but nobody in my family ever did it. Whether it was go to college, open up a business for myself, you know, buy that car with my own money, things like this. Sometimes it requires you to take a risk, you know, high risk, high reward, and sometimes high risk, no reward, but you never know if you don't go. And as far as mental health goes, I believe right now at this point in our community, whether it's men or women, we need more representation. We need to see authenticity. I was once asked the question on TikTok, you know, off subject, but you know, it was about the Moana thing and the movie Moana, and you know, they asked, oh, that's such great representation, and you know, yeah, it's a cartoon, but I would rather see someone who looks like me, talks like me, and is me, and it feels like me. That the authenticity is there. That I know I can do it too. So as far as like seeing that pleases my mental, that satisfies my mental because it can be done, rather than hearing it be said all the time. But yeah, I honestly think that's one way we can attack it is representation.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that, Savage. Really, thank you so much. Yeah, representation and education, and because I know a lot of times, you know, there's a lack of awareness with mental health, understanding what that is. I do want to bring this topic and go with Sialsi and Irene, because you know, you guys grew up in a different generation, right? You guys may see
Are you calling us old?
No. No.
We're seasoned.
No, you just different, older.
I don't know about you, but I'm
We're alive.
No, but you know, you guys grew up in a different generation because you guys, you know, the Pacific Islander love is like, it's tough love, right? And what's your experience with mental health growing up, and then seeing this newer generation where they want to express themselves, they want to speak up, they want to articulate their feelings, their thoughts, they want to even if it disagrees with their elders, and that's the bridge, right? The bridge right now. What I hear from our generation is like, oh, the elders are not listening to me, they're not trying to understand me, where I'm coming from, and that's causing a lot of them to suffer mentally. So, but you guys came from a different generation, so you guys grew up a different way, and now you see a whole new generation. And I just want to ask your thoughts and your experience of what you see. And I'll start off with you, Irene.
For me, it was really a challenge because I kind of had to identify where my place was in the family.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? There's certain protocols and things like that. So I really couldn't express myself growing up and my feelings towards how I felt about things. I think I grew up in an era where children were seen and not heard.
Mhm.
You just do what you're told.
Yep.
But I took the good things of our culture, and then I brought in the other good things to add to it when I raised my children, because I felt communication was really important and allowing my children's voices to be heard.
Mm.
And so communication, I've never, a lot of things were done in private. So when you had, your parents had a conflict, they did it behind doors. So I really didn't really know how to, have any conflict resolution skills in that sense. And when you see that dynamic happens between parents and, your parents in their relationship. So that was a challenge. But as I grew older, I found the value of having, even though the girls were very vocal and expressive, was also the emphasis of allowing my son to say that teach him that it's okay to cry, that it's okay to communicate how he's feeling, and what he's going through, and talk in terms of things that happens in his life. And I found more value in that with my son also, because I know it's harder for men to express and communicate. So from me in a generation, I took the good things from how I grew up and then improved on it when I had my family.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah. All right. So you took the good and started something new. Chelsea, what's your thoughts and your experience?
Listen, culture is constantly changing, right? And then, well done. I mean, simply saying that you took the most valuable part of what you grew up with, and you're mixing it with this new thought, new things in life. It's exactly what it is. I have it that we have to acknowledge what took place in the past, and not walk away from it, acknowledge that it took place. And the only way that we can move forward is that every single person, right, create something that's different for themselves, so that they walk into a new being and not be stuck in the past, right? Because we can't do anything about the past. The past is the past. It is where it's at. What we can do is take the very few things, or all of the good things that has been awesome, and incorporate new things that would make us extraordinary. So I'm not going to dwell on what happened to me, 20 years ago, 30, 40. Did I say 40 years? Okay, 50 years ago. 50 years. I'm not going to bring that up and have it live in my future. My future is determined by how well I can mix my past and my future, and being in present this moment. What can I do now to better it? Right? And I want to hear Leah talk about that, knowing that you come from, you're a fob, right?
Yeah.
You're a fob. And now that you're here in the States, what is it that you do different now, so that the next generation gets something different, other than your experience of life, whether it's good or bad?
Well, kind of relating to what Irene was saying, how she was saying she felt like she couldn't fully express her thoughts or her feelings growing up. It was kind of like that growing up back in the islands. You have to pretty much just listen to what your elders say. And but it did change eventually with my father. He's like my bestest friend. He developed as a person, and just started to sit my siblings and I down one by one, at least once a month, and just talk to us individually about what we're going through. And he's the biggest Faikava person ever. My mom has the biggest problem because my dad's always at Faikava. But the reason why I don't believe Faikava is the reason why men are stagnant is because even though he goes Faikava, he wakes up early in the morning on Saturdays, goes to Uta or to the bush, and then still has a job Monday through Friday, and then makes time for us children. So I think learning from that was, I'm still learning how to parent better. I'm not a perfect mom, and I'm not any better than my parents, but I've learned from my father to have an open relationship with my children, even though they're babies, but to let them, speak to you, let them express their feelings. And if they're crying, if they're angry, like they're still learning how to navigate through their feelings, and it's just being that for them, and also not just for the children but for like other adults around me, like other adults and their feelings. It's just to let them feel validated, but also not changing my own opinion and my truth. But
Elia, let me ask
yes,
you. Leah, let me ask you, what was like the hardest thing that you wanted, I guess, that you wanted to express or bring up, that you ever had to do in your life? That was like, what was that? Like, what was like the hardest thing you wanted to express but you feel like you couldn't?
You mean back in the islands growing up, or right now?
It doesn't matter. In any phase, in any part of your life, like what was something that you wanted to speak up on, but you felt like the elders didn't want to understand you, they didn't want to listen to you, but this is something you were adamant, like this is something you wanted, but you found it hard to bring it up. What was it?
Okay, well, I can't speak of anything recent right now, but
Okay.
I guess like growing up, I'm also a Mormon,
Okay.
LDS,
Okay.
and we always had missionaries come over. We fed them every time we could, and I guess it was like an expectation that everyone just expected. Well, you're going to be a missionary when you grow up, and I'm also adopted, but I never ever felt like I was ever different or treated differently. So growing up, like I did feel truly, absolutely loved by my parents. But one concept I couldn't wrap my head around was, how could I be in part of the eternal family that our church teaches if I'm adopted, right? So at the age of like 17, 18, my parents were, not just my parents, but like other leaders of the church were pretty much talking as if I'm about to go on a mission. And then I realized, like, I can't go be a missionary and preach something I don't fully understand. Like, how does an adopted child become part of an eternal family? So it was hard for me to open up to my parents about that and let them know, like, hey, I'm not going to go on a mission. And so when I was about 18, I told them I'm not going to go on a mission. So my dad, I also got in trouble. So my dad like blew me out of Tonga, sent me to Australia, and he said, if you're not going to go on a mission, might as well go learn how to grow up as an individual. And I felt like that was the hardest thing to do, because as a parent, I wanted them to feel proud of me, but I didn't want to lie to them and tell them I was going to go do something I didn't feel 100% with, if that was your question.
Wanted you to grow up, and he sent you to Australia?
Yeah. Well, I also did something I got in trouble for in Tonga. I had a boyfriend. I wasn't supposed to have a boyfriend, and he like booed me to Australia. He said, you could either stay here, but if you stay here, you're going to have to get married. Or if you go to Australia, you could go to school and go to work. So which was it? And well, I chose to go to Australia, and I had wonderful cousins and family that kind of pushed me. I think Daniela probably goes Faikava with one of them, because he was talking about something one of my uncle does. Anyways, twist of the story was he sent me to Australia, and my family snuck a Book of Mormon with a bunch of testimonies in it. And I was kind of like going through trying to figure out like what my testimony was. I would attend a lot of different churches, and it was crazy. But at the end of the day, I realized like I was all alone in this country. Well, not completely alone. I had loving family, but my parents were letting me choose for myself, like what I was going to do. And I realized, reading throughout the scriptures and the testimonies of my siblings, was that it didn't matter whether or not I was adopted or not, but Heavenly Father is my father. And if he put me in this family, that was my family. And so, that just knowing that I'm a child of God, and it doesn't matter what anyone says or what anyone thinks of me. My parents are my parents. And so I decided to go serve a mission. And I actually flew back to surprise my family almost a year later and told them I was working on my mission papers. And but my dad was like, don't you have a boyfriend? Aren't you going to do anything with your life? And so I surprised him and told him I was working on mission papers. And that was just absolutely twist of events for him. But yeah, that was something that was hard for me to speak to my parents about, was that I couldn't believe in that. So they let me go and figure it out. And then I came back actually doing what they wanted. So that's,
Malo Faikava, Malo. All right.
Far from that.
Hey, Ipo, I see you, Ipo. Let me just finish this topic right here, and I'll let you in. Just thank you for waiting patiently, Ipo. I see you in the waiting room. Before I pass it to Tui real quick, I just have I'm very curious because we talk about mental health and speaking up. So I want to have a question to Sias and Irene, because I know you guys grew up at the time where like our elders was very strict, like whatever they said, we just follow. I want to ask Sias and Irene, was there ever something you wanted to do for your life that you didn't express it and then now you regret it today? Like something you wanted to do, something you wanted to say to your parents, something you wanted to bring up, but you felt like you couldn't. But looking back at it today, like you regret, man, I should have just did it. I should have just spoke up on it. And if I'm just curious because if you have any,
I already go.
Chelsea, go ahead.
Chelsea, you confess first.
Chelsea, go.
All right. So when I first got here, so I fell in love with ballerina dancing, and I always wanted to be a ballerina dancer, but I didn't know how to do it, and I didn't know how to ask. I had no idea. Okay. And so that was the one thing that I never got to ask my parents: how can I become a dancer like those guys? Right? Because I had it was the most beautiful things that I ever seen, and I never got to ask my parents. That's it. That's why I laugh. I'm like, you ask for it, I tell you. I want to be a ballerina dancer.
Did you practice behind closed doors and like do the twist and everything?
Let me tell you, I can do the twist.
Hey.
I can throw the legs out.
That's a 9.0 airbus pirouette.
Let me tell you, don't let me do the splits.
That's a 10. That's a 10. Thank you. 10 across the board.
That was it. That was it.
Oh wow, man, thank you for sharing it. Hey, and same thing, Irene. Same question.
What is your question again? Something that I regret. I wish I had asked my parents.
I wanted to speak on something you wanted to do, but they disagreed. And looking back at it, like you kind of regret, like, man, I should have just done it.
Like Siasi, I was in dance. I ended up doing music instead. They wanted me to do music, to study music.
Yep.
I enjoy music, but it wasn't my thing. But I found my love more in behavioral sciences.
Okay.
It totally shifted. But I wanted to go to Utah University at that time. They had a great dance program. So they sent me to BYU Hawaii to do music.
All right.
And I still do music now. It's my therapy.
All right. Can we get a dance move like Chelsea? No? Yes?
No. I have some music. I produce music. I write lyrics and all that stuff. You can see that. I got to do a TikTok trend.
But I think it goes back to like we didn't have a choice at that moment. Like growing up, there was no such thing as choice. You just did what you were told.
Yeah.
Like it was simple. Like you said earlier, we all had our part in life. I'm one of 11 kids. And my part was to wash the dishes, cook, and do laundry. Done. That's my part.
So
and
I want
to exactly that for like 15 years. We all had a part in our life.
I want to expand on that question because the question I get from a lot of not only from my younger siblings, but I hear from a lot of our generation is like, how do we approach our parents to be able to go against their wishes, to go against their direction in a respectful way where, because, a lot of times when you speak to your parents like that and disagree with them, a lot of times parents will take that as disrespect. So like, how do we, I'll open this up for everybody. Like what's, because that's the question I hear from a lot of people. For me, like I tell my parents what I wanted to do. They didn't agree. For me, I just dipped and did my own thing. I just walked. That's how I did it. For myself, it's like I got to do what I do. I know my purpose, my life, what makes me happy, what I like to do. And for me, it's like if nobody agrees, that's on them. I'm gonna do me. But that's what I did. But that's the question I hear from a lot of people. Like, how do we? Yeah, because like, what's the best way to approach our parents to disagree what they're telling me because I want to do this for me because this is what I want to do without disrespecting them. And I guess
It's easier to ask for forgiveness than permission. You did the right thing.
Yeah.
There's no good way to do it, especially like with Polynesian parents.
Yeah. Okay.
You have to show
especially
them.
Christian.
Right. You kind of have to show them and prove to them that this is my goal, this is what I'm going to do, and this is where I'm going to go. And you kind of have to, show them that this is what you're passionate about. Some parents want us to fulfill their dreams, and that's the challenge, instead of fostering what our children's dreams are, instead of saying, hey, if this is what you want to do, make sure you do the best of it, right? And that's what I've encouraged my children. It doesn't matter what it is if you love something, just make sure you do the best of what you love, So I think you kind of have, I don't know if you have to show them, because that's a whole generation, because they're looking for it to see if you can make a living from the field that you're going into. Kind of like, the Chinese and the Indians, or you have to be a lawyer, a doctor, like that.
Mm-hmm.
It all comes back to, is this going to bring shame on my family? Or, what are we looking for? Are we looking at what our reputation will be as parents, or are we fostering our children's growth and development?
Okay. All right. And thank you for sharing, guys. And last but not least, Ipo, I'm going to thank you for waiting patiently. I'm going to go to Sina, and I'll come back to you, Ipo, and invite you into the group chat. Sina, you're the last person. Yeah, what's your thoughts about mental health and your experience with growth and stagnation within the poly community? Tui.
You're talking to me?
Yeah, Tui, yeah, you.
Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry. What did you say?
Yeah, you're the last one. Yeah, what's your thoughts about mental health? Mental health in the community, how it's like stagnating some people and their growth. Yeah.
So our people, we clown a lot, right?
Yeah.
And we like to roast. We're very happy, funny people. And in that same respect, it's frowned upon to find help for any kind of issue. Like it's frowned upon to go to therapy. In my case, it was court ordered at one point, but that's a story for another time. But that court ordered therapy when I was younger did help, but like it's frowned upon for not just young people in general, but all Polynesians, but young people more so, because we make fun of each other for it and we take it to heart, but we pretend like it doesn't bother us.
Mm-hmm.
So my main issue with most people, our age and Savage, people our age, we support each other, but not really. We support each other face value, but in the end, we're all people, our generation. I have what I was gonna say and then I just lost it. But our generation makes it really hard for each other to grow because of the lack of support that we have. We don't, and I'm not saying that it's everyone, but it's largely in part because our generation is lazy and we are caught between our culture and Western society. And it's almost impossible for first generation Polynesian parents to be equipped with the tools to raise their children in this society. So then we get lost and caught. I'm not making excuses for anyone, but I'm giving an example.
Okay, no worries. All right, thank you so much, Tui. Okay, Savage, go ahead real quick before we go to, go ahead.
I just wanted to add on to what Tui was saying. I mean, I totally agree as far as the roasting thing, right? You hear enough, oh man, you bush head, you ugly face, you big butt, whatever the hell it is. You get so much into hearing it, it normalizes, you desensitize, and all of a sudden, this is how your group or the culture you come from views you. All of a sudden you get outside of your group and say, for instance, a black girl looks at me and sees me cute for the flaws that I get made fun of. And all of a sudden I start gravitating towards that because all of a sudden it's now positive intake on me. You said, what? My hair looks nice. But my sister said my hair looks bushy. It looks nappy. It looks ugly. You like my hair? You want to braid my hair? Oh, wow. What else? next you know, it starts to grab on your mind, because all these things you've heard negative growing up in your life is like, well, I never thought of it that way. I never looked at it that way, but thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you start to kind of grow out of your circle. And I'm only highlighting this for the mental health issue, because if you don't tell your parents, the worst case scenario, I believe, and Jesus Christ, if I say this, I hope I don't go viral. You end up a porn star or a prostitute, selling drugs, doing something else that you're not supposed to be doing, all because your parents couldn't elaborate. And I don't blame the parents. I know it's a generational thing, but I believe it's just the effort. It's the effort. It's just saying, hey, I don't agree with it, but if I have to be there for you to support you, I will. I will do that. And yeah, I mean, Dewey hit it right on the nail. There are so many people I could have, growing up, there were so many people I could have just been like, support them, just little things here and there. And because I chose not to, it could have been a factor to where they're at today. So thank you, Dewey, for saying that.
Yeah, thank you, Savage, for saying that. Before I go to Ipo, I know that waiting right now for everybody out there that wants to do something for their life, but nobody's supporting them. Just understand that for me, it's like whenever you do something that's never been done before, you can't expect people that have never experienced it or never done it to support you. So if you want to break the generational cycle, if you want to do something that your family's never done before, it's like you can't talk big dreams to small-minded people. They don't understand, right? They will never understand because they've never seen it, they never experienced it, they've never done it. So even if your parents, right? So like if you want to do something you've never been done before, just understand 99% of the time, no one is going to support you, even the closest to you. And it's not their fault because it's just something that they don't believe in, they never tried, and they never experienced. And you can't expect people to believe in your shoes if they never walked that path. I just want to share that real quick. And also, I see the likes went up, yo. I see the likes. We got 11 likes, but we still have 20 people watching. So there's 9 of y'all that ain't liking this video. So stop being a ninja watcher and stop being gaga and like.
You gotta take down the hair. Take down the hair.
But if I get 20 likes, I'll take down the hair. I'll take down the hair. All right. But anyways, Ipo, I know you've been waiting patiently. Thank you so much for waiting. I'm about to add you in right now. So Ipo, I'm about to add you right now if you're watching. All right, let's go ahead. I'm adding you right now. All righty, it's connecting. All right. Hopefully you got that Wi-Fi connection, Ipo.
What's the Jeopardy theme?
All right, Ipo, I'll give you another 20 seconds. Then we gotta cut you loose. The show got to go on. But anyways, if you're watching this right now, y'all drop some comments, let me know. Thank you for so much for everybody out there that's still they've been chatting the whole time.
Yeah.
I see you run it up. Thank you so much. Big man, should I say this?
No, I know.
Big Kavenga. I'll say Big Kavenga. Thank you so much for your comments. I see you and all those guys. Teresa, Timani, Kaikena, Tasi, Daniela. Thank you so much for commenting.
Oh,
and,
Kenna's in there. Ken,
Ipo,
get out. Don't say anything.
Ipo, I'm sorry, Ipo. I may have to. We gotta go. If you fix it, drop it. Send it. If you fix your connections, send it to the chat. Let me know your connection's good, and I'll add you back on. All right, Ipo. All right. Adios.
Yeah. Can I just jump in? I want to follow up with what Tui said earlier. I have it that you're not stuck in where you're at. You're not stuck between yesterday and today. I just want to be clear that you are not stuck, that you have the opportunity to transform or change that for yourself simply by saying so and then moving forward. But if we're constantly throwing that out to people that were stuck between a rock here, then we are stuck because your communication is you're stuck between yesterday and today, or Tongan way, best the modern world. What gets transformed is that you get to say that I'm moving forward and I'm no longer living in the past because the past hasn't yet, it doesn't serve me at this moment. So that way that the next person that hears that, something new comes up for them, right? So we got to get away from the way that we're constantly throwing words out that keeps people stuck in their being. So we transform our language. What happens next is that people take on that they're not stuck, right? Just something we might have to, we might want to take a look at.
All right. I do want to bring up, before we move on to the next topic, I do want to bring up something to end up this topic about mental health. And this may push some buttons, and this may be controversial, but I'm going to say it. All right. So
don't say it. Don't say it.
All right. So mental health is important, right? Mental health is important to be able to understand that people express themselves, express their feelings, let it out, and be able to help those people. But I do see a fine line between mental health and people just being soft, right? So I think a lot of people get it. I think a lot of, I mean, look, if you have mental health issues, you need help, you need professional help, go get therapy, go whatever you need to do, find a mentor, find somebody to talk to. But I do see a generation of kids today, men and women, they're just soft. Like, you're just soft. You don't have mental health issues. You're not depressed. Like, we all go through things in life. We all gonna suffer, we all gonna fail, we all go through hardship. That's life. Life is suffering. Suffering is life. But I just see a lot of people becoming victims, victim mentality, complaining, making excuses of why their life is not where they need to be, and taking no accountability for their choices of what they're making. So I see there's a fine line where a lot of people are using the mental health issue as an excuse to not take accountability for the choices you made for your life. And we all make mistakes, but a mistake that you keep repeating is no longer a mistake, it's a choice. So I do want to open it up for you guys. Like, what do you see? I do see yeah, if you have mental health issues, yes, but I do believe that a lot of people are sensitive, and I do see a lot of people being soft and using the mental health as an excuse. And sometimes I have that in my own family, and I have to talk to my cousins about, yo, like, get your life together, man. Yeah, like, no, get that. Like, you've been depressed for like the last 3 months, doing nothing with your life, being in your room and secluding yourself and sleeping all day and not doing anything productive with your life, and you're wondering why you're broke, wondering why because you don't have a job, but it's depression. Oh no, it's depression. That's what I mean. I have to say it because I do believe people need to hear that message. You got to toughen up and go out there and make things happen. Like, what are your thoughts?
I feel like we just went backwards. all these conversations we just have about like growing leaders.
Yeah.
And having people more empowered. I have it that you just took all that BS that you just said, took the last conversation and shoved it up somebody's rear end.
Yeah.
You get that?
Yeah.
How do you, at one point, we're talking about how do we empower people, and then you come up with that?
I think it's okay. I think it's important for us to talk about it so we identify certain behaviors, especially for those who are watching.
Yeah, like I said, I made it clear, right? If you have mental health issues, real mental health issues, yeah, go get therapy, go get professional help. But I do see certain people, like, every single time they fail, they're always making excuses. They're always blaming other people. They don't take accountability, and they wonder why their life is not improving. And I think that part of growth is looking within yourself and taking accountability and responsible for your choices. If outside of mental health issues.
Okay. So I have it in my listening to you that you have everything together. Like your life is working exactly the way it's supposed to.
No.
That's my listening. We all have it in this conversation that we all know what the hell we're doing in life. Mm-hmm. And once you consider that none of us here have our shit together.
Yeah.
You get that?
Yeah.
I'm 50 and I still don't have my shit together. And we're wanting a 25-year-old to have this shit like this. Like now, is that what we're doing now? We want a 20-year-old to get their shit together. What does that mean? If you don't have your shit together, all six of us, we don't have our shit together. What is it that our experience that we want people to get it now when we don't have it? Really? Is this where the conversation is going? Is that we're going to sit here and belittle every single person in life because they don't have it together when you and I don't have it together?
Okay. Can I chime in on that, on the behavioral health perspective?
It's just a conversation.
No.
It is a conversation, but we have to look at the core issue of why they're in their current state. People have had something in the past that have happened that they have not addressed, they're not self-aware of. And that's why we have therapy in place. If we cannot address the core root to what is going on, how can we move forward, right? So, and some people become complacent. They're happy to be where they are at. Then you have those that are entitled, right? And so when it comes to behavioral health, you can't really judge anybody, because we, at some point, we all have gone through some stages of, some form of challenges or suffering or behavior or mental health issues. But what is the core? What is the unmet need of that person that we have not addressed? And so for the, like you said, Will, that person is depressed. What is the core issue? What is happening in their timeline or their parents' timeline? When I work with kids, it's not about just what is the core issue, that I'm looking also at the parents' timeline and what happened in their parents' upbringing as to why the child is like this today. And part of it is we have to also educate the parent to catch them up to where the child is. Meet me where
100%.
I'm at. Yeah.
But that goes back, majority of us do not get into people's world. We sit and judge instead of asking questions, what's going on in your life to have you be that way? And we're sitting here judging every single person in your life.
Same as Faikava. What is the unmet need of our men? Why do we go into Faikava, right? Like George, back to the beginning where he said, are we communicating? What needs are being met when I'm with my brothers in a Faikava session, right? Some I mentioned when some of those videos, it's therapy. It's a sense of connectiveness. That's great. That's a natural support. That is awesome to have. But at the same time, is there balance? Are you finding some form of balance between that for yourself and also for those the lives that you affect?
Okay. All right. Thanks, Irene. Yeah. Thank you so much. Savage, go ahead.
So I'm just going to speak from experience. I'm not going to speak on anybody or speculate or generalize anything. If I feel you don't benefit me, nothing you do is going to benefit anything I do. You're not a priority to me. I'm cutting it off. Hey, nice to meet you. Nice to talk to you. I'm not invested or concerned about what you're going through because it's none of my business. You'll get through it. I believe in you. I'll pray for you. But as far as you highlighted it. You said soft. I won't call anybody soft. I won't call you soft. I won't even call you period. If I feel you are, how would I say, counterproductive to what I envision for myself and the things I want to be successful in, it's as simple as, I hope you get through that and I just won't see you again. Because I believe the creator, the great spirit or whatever I believe in will bring in the things I need around me in order to succeed in the things I need to do. For instance, you had mentioned that, whether it's a societal thing or, it's a community thing, if people don't want to admit their faults or whatever, it's not me for me to sit there and judge. But if I hear too much of it, if I hear too often about it and you still haven't decided in your mind how you're going to get through it, I can't be around it because it's like planting bad seeds. You keep putting that around me. You keep speaking that around me. All I'm going to do is kind of worry about what you're going through and it'll take me off my game. It'll distract me. And then I'll have to worry about what you're going through. And now I prioritize you over my own priorities. So as far as, the whole concept of being soft, it's like this. If you're not getting your shit together, you need to get the fuck out of my life. If I have to tell you one more time, our friendship's over. I don't have friends anymore. I don't have friends anymore. It's as simple as, if it does not benefit me, you're not a partner. You're not someone I want to call or rely on. Because the things that the pandemic has revealed to me is as simple as this. People can easily give up. That's the easiest thing we can do is give up. It's easy to turn around and walk away. It's harder to continue on in the things we want to do. It's the hardest thing when you don't know what's going to happen on the other side of tomorrow. So if you're going to sit there, and I wouldn't say complain or, I can't do it. I don't know. If you don't know it, I don't know. You're going to keep saying it over and over. What the hell do you want me to do? I can't find answers for you. The best I can do is pray for you and hope you find your way in it. Should you see me succeed in it later, hopefully I can turn around and help you later. But for right now, you do not benefit me, so I can't carry the dead weight with me. You have to get through this on your own. So I'm moving forward, but hopefully somewhere down the line, you find the experience, you find the needs, you find the resources, and you get through it. But as far as the concept of soft, I've been soft. I would say I'm still soft. I'm as soft as the softest thing you could possibly think of. But one thing for sure is I'm not going to give up. I'm sure as hell not going to give up. I'm going to keep fighting. I'm going to keep moving forward. And I promise you, with the bottom dollar in my pocket, that not only am I going to succeed in that thing that I'm trying to push forward, but anybody on my team, anybody with me in my circle, anybody who's on board with me is going to succeed with me. I promise you that.
Yeah, thank you, Savage. And no, I just want to clarify what I said for everybody is the reason why I brought that up, right? About sensitive and people being soft is we live in a time right now where we can't be real and honest and objective with somebody. Like if one of my friends is obese, I would tell my friend straight up, hey man, you're fat and you're obese. You need to get your life together and change your life to improve your health. But we live in a time right now, if you call somebody that's actually fat, that's fat shaming, right? Even though objectively, in reality, he is fat. So that's why I brought up that topic. Like, if you're broke, I'm gonna call a spade a spade. And a lot of times we live in a culture today that because we can't be honest up front and people can't take honesty no more, reality no more. And sometimes in life, when you fail, when you go through struggles, when you do hard, like I said, I don't have my life together. I don't. But there's certain times in my life that I needed that hard truth and reality check in my life. Hey man, you're not where you need to be. It's not because of anybody else. It's your fault. The reason why I'm broke, the reason why I'm fat, the reason why my health is not together, the reason why I'm not where I need to be, the reason why I'm not attracting the opportunities I want, the money I need. It's not anybody's. It's not anybody's. It's not anybody else. It's you. And you are what you are. You are what your choices that you make. And that's why I brought up that topic, because sometimes I have real honest convos with people, and they're like, and they get offended by calling something that's. I'm calling you exactly what you are, but I'm not saying that to push you down. I'm telling you the honest truth, so that way give you that reality. So what are you gonna do about it? Because at the end of the day, like I said, like you can't help somebody doesn't want to be helped. You can help. We can give them all the therapy. We can give them all the support. Put all the support groups. Give them all the love and support. But there's certain people out there that they don't do it for themselves, and I can't do it for you. And a lot of times, like I said, they try to avoid that conversation. That's why I do believe people need to be checked, and people need that reality and that tough conversation in their life in order to get you out and get moving. And that's what I meant. So,
Tui, say it. Tui, say it.
Go ahead, Tui.
She's been waiting.
Go ahead, Tui.
Okay, I just wanted to go back to what Xiaoxi said. First of all, I love you. And whatever you say, I'm going to listen to because I think you're fantastic. But you said that you're 50 and you don't have your shit together, and we're all in the same boat, right? We don't have our shit together. But
yeah,
these conversations, I want everyone who's watching this at least to understand that we are not by any means shaming or speaking ill of you guys, but it's important that we identify the behaviors in our culture and our community. So when we reach 50, we're not like, what the hell happened? Like, why are we still in the same place? And so it's just like, going back to the Faikava issue, having like Faikava, I think is great. I think our men need a place to go. I'd rather my man go to a Faikava than a bar. But but realistically, it's the people who are going there in a certain mentality. If they want something, their mind is already made up. That's what they're going to get. And going back some more, I'm so sorry, Will, I'm gonna hurry up, but going back some more, like
you're good.
What are we doing and teaching? I don't want to leave out the young women, but we raised women in Polynesian culture to be strong. Like we were raised like boys, and that's why we can handle our men. So an example, if my husband falls, right? If he falls, I need to be there to pick him up. But the problem, one of the issues, not the main problem, but one of the issues is when we pick our man up, we don't put him back on his feet. We keep carrying him until we're mad at him for not doing what he's supposed to do, but we don't give him the correct kind of support because we were just taught to keep going, you know? And instead, like women, we too do this to our husbands. We don't foster their growth to do what they like. They have dreams, you know, they have stuff they want to do, but are we supporting it? And I'm only going to speak off of what I've seen and experienced. The women in my family, they support their men. You know, anything you want to do, we're there for you. We're going to support you. A lot of times in our community, I have not always seen that. You know, I've seen men's dreams get shot down by their women, and the same for men to their wives, but mostly Polynesian wives. They're like, well, you need to be realistic. And I understand you have to be realistic. You have to take care of your family. But at the same time, that's not all they want to do. So, you know, my point of these discussions is to identify behaviors and how can we help correct it?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that was a lot.
No, go ahead. Anybody's thoughts on what we just said?
She's right. She's on point.
Okay.
Two is much on point, and we have to have the dialogue between all generations.
Savage.
Yeah.
I
But
wanted to
I have it
highlight.
that we're still coming from a space of we need to fix people,
Yeah,
right?
that's. I
When you
wanted
can-
to
when you-
highlight that.
Yeah, when you can take that, there's no fixing people, but we can have conversation with people. Then people are willing to take a look. But as long as you come from a space that we need to fix this person is not where they're supposed to be. Like, take a look at yourself.
But would you
Because-
agree that we do need to identify these behaviors and call them
Correct.
out? Yeah.
100%.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, you could call them out. You could call them out, but it makes no difference on the other side.
Yeah.
Because all you're doing is pissing them off.
Address it.
Like you have to be smarter than calling people out, right? Like I don't walk around calling people fat people. You get that?
There's a
But I
way
don't
to
get-
approach it.
It's
There's a
all
way to
about the
approach it.
being 100%. It's all about how you be about it when you have that conversation.
Yeah.
Because the way you receive your information is completely different from how Savage received what I'm talking about. And it's completely different from what Will is hearing. We all hear things from a different filter. So what you think is valid is not valid for everybody else. So you're going to have to consider and be smarter than what you already know to have it land that is powerful. So you can get all the information you need. But once you have the information, you're going to have to take a look in the way that you're being about it, how to deliver a message that every single person out there sees and hears the message the way it's supposed to be heard, not through your filters of life. I love you.
Savage. Is that what you want something to say or no?
Yeah. I just wanted all that stuff I said earlier. I wanted to highlight. That's why I don't join a kalapu. I'm very critical of my time. I'll end up beating somebody's fucking ass or getting in a fight because we can't come to agreement on something. And if it doesn't benefit me, I'm always going to prioritize my success first because I have to take care of my family. And if we come together on an idea, say for instance, hey, let's start a yacht there, let's do this and, get the permits and the licensing and all this stuff. And you don't meet your end of the bargain, I'm going to fuck you up because it's a two-way street. It's a two-way street. I don't know how many times I've been to Kalapus and we elaborate the ideas. And it's like you said, application.
Yeah.
Dewey even did a better job by saying, I'm not even going to lie. I had to stop going to Kalapu because my wife was carrying me. Oh, woe is me. I'm going to Kalapu, but I'm never acting on the shit I'm supposed to be fucking doing. I'm 32 years old now. And I realized if I was 32 with the mindset of 32 now and the 22-year-old body that I had back then, I'd be so fucking, I'd have so many podcasts right now. But that's why I can't join Kalapus because I'm getting pissed off. I'll say, hey, where did the money go? Oh, Togo, we went to buy a new office space for the Kalapu. What the fuck? The money was supposed to go. Next, I'm whooping somebody's ass. So,
but I think that's where your breakthrough will be for you. Like this, we're talking about the alpha last time, right? The breakthrough for you is to have you not have your emotions run who you are. Like have full control of who you are when you have this conversation, when your expectations are not met. for you to be authentic with people and have a real conversation that matters to you and have it be heard is everything. But if you have it that you're always going to beat somebody else's ass, like who wants to hang around with you?
Yeah.
And nobody.
That-
I don't even want to hang around with you.
correct.
Like
No,
hearing
no,
that, me hearing that, like, why would I hang around with a guy like you?
Yeah.
Right? Because you bring nothing to the table with me.
Yeah.
So you want to consider that that this conversation here, every single person is listening. They get to choose whether they get to be around you or not.
Yeah.
Right? The message that's coming out is that you don't really give a damn about anybody else. That I'm going to step over every individual that doesn't give me what I need and what I want out of life. That you will step on them to get what you want. It has nothing to do with empowering people, especially with people that don't have that much knowledge at this moment, the experience. I have it in my lifetime. I walk away from people like you, and I be with people that you're pushing away. So I can help myself grow as I'm teaching, having conversation, that we all grow together as one. I don't get to go up to by myself. I get to bring my community with me.
Yeah.
Are you done?
I get to bring my community up with me. And I don't step on people. So you might want to consider your conversation to have it that every single person that you're having a conversation with, there's something to be gotten. And that you're a human and I'm human, and we all screw things up. And whether you're human and I'm a human, that you got my back, even when you don't have mine. When you can get to be that kind of a human being, that I got your back, even when you don't have mine, you're starting to become a leader.
Yeah.
Leaders don't step on others' back to get what they want. Leaders stay, make sure that every single person has been raised up, that they all become leaders. That we all become leaders in life.
That
will
is a
not
great
step
point,
on it.
Celsi. That is a great point because, you know, in our Tongan culture, the leaders start from the point of servitude, where we brought
100%.
ourselves to the level of our people and then lift our people up.
We lift our people up. We don't step
Yes.
on our people.
Yeah.
My brother has taught me that. My father has taught me that. All of my brothers have taught me that. Right? This is my experience of being Tongan.
Yes.
That I get to go through my BS of life, and regardless of what I'm going through, what's embedded in my mind is I get to bring every single person around me and make sure that their life is working just as beautiful as mine. If not more better than mine, make it theirs extremely better than mine. Like extraordinary, uniquely extraordinary. That their life is better than mine. So I know that I've done something. If somebody next to me is growing and they're expanding their life, and I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be, then I've done my part in life.
Thanks, Chelsea. Savage, you have something to say? I know you have something to say.
No, I definitely heard what Chelsea said and I respect it. As far as finishing where I was getting at, that's why I walk away. I don't step on anybody's back. I don't step on anybody. I step away. I literally walk the other direction because the one thing is toxicity. I know how bad I get. I know how emotional I get when toxicity and negativity are put into the mathematics. For instance, I said earlier about benefits. If you don't benefit me, what I meant by that, yes, I'm selfish in the sense that it has to benefit me first. Otherwise, why would I take interest? I understand the service to others. I understand. I know how to service others. It's as far as if I service you, what is the benefit? Because one thing I know for sure is doing work for free sucks. Doing work for free does not feed your family. One thing I've learned here in Tonga, not in Tonga, learned here from Tongans here is the favors. You want a discount? Kiss my ass. You want a discount? I started this business. You don't want to support me? Oh, that's cool. Well, you know what?
Okay.
You keep asking for discounts. Cool. Just know this. You're not helping me feed my family. So, you know, whether it's, you know, hey, that's selfish. Come on, man. That's family. Well, you know, I understand how that is. But getting here to America and understanding the rat race and understanding how society works, if me having to be selfish or in the sense stepping away from the kalapu is a bad thing, I'm all for it. I want to be the baddest guy in the room because it's not about going against my community. It's not about not helping the next person. You'll follow me if you see success. You'll offer something if you have something to offer. Just like I will in the same way. I will offer you if I see benefit within myself that what you're doing. For instance, Will, I would not be on your podcast if I didn't think this was progressive. I wouldn't even answer your text messages. Not only is this progressive,
I love it.
if somebody is watching this, some 13-year-old kid, 12-year-old kid, 20 years from now, and is like, damn, I can't believe our ancestors were talking about this. They were already onto something. I can honestly say I contributed to something. But as far as in my personal life, I mean, honestly, that's why I don't go to Galapagos anymore, because when I don't see it being progressive, all I'm going to do is add on more negativity. Like Xiaoxi said, what's the use of me beating somebody up because I'm emotional? I have to step away. I have to walk away from it.
Yeah, I do want to speak on something that I know Tui said or Xiaoxi said about addressing things or calling people out. I do believe that, and Xiaoxi said, like, you know, we have to be aware of, because everybody hears things differently and everybody responds to different approaches, right? But I do believe, yeah, I totally understand it, but I do believe in some way, in anybody, whatever somebody's going through, but the conversation of some people need to hear the truth of the reality of why their life to where they at. And sometimes in life that message, sometimes you may not like it and you maybe not be the preferred method, but whatever, in order for transformation to happen, for change to happen, you need to know the truth, because how can you change your life if you don't know what the problem is? And sometimes, like I said, that message to get across from somebody, sometimes like it can't be the preferred method the way you want it, the way you respond. But sometimes in life, it's not always the preferred method in a way, but regardless, you still need to hear that truth. You know, like I played football, you know, when we play football, every single game after we have to watch the film and then we have to address the mistakes. And the coach has to call out your mistake in front of everybody. So you may not take criticism wrong, but in life, like in order to change something, in order to improve, something needs to change, and you need to be aware of what's wrong, and you need to know the reason why it's wrong. And sometimes you get that method from the right people, and they can translate it and give you that message in the way you preferred. But sometimes it's not always like that. But you have to be open for criticism, and open to be able to get that tough love, that tough communication, and just take what's good and move on with it. That's my thoughts on that one. But guys, for the sake of, I know we're coming to the end of the podcast, and we're gonna conclude it. Yeah. So before we conclude the podcast, I am going to play, like I told you guys before, we have a raw footage video of what happens in these Faikava clubs. So so I see a lot of people. Oh, the likes are going up. All right, the likes are going up, guys.
Wait, did we get 20 yet?
No, we got 16 people watching. I see 12. So 4 more likes. Come on, y'all.
Call your friends and press some likes so we can
press the like. Just press the like.
We want Will to cut off his hair. He said we're gonna cut it off.
if we get to 16 before we end the show, I'll take my hair down in a bun. But a lot of you guys are maybe watching it so far because you guys want to see this raw footage video. So just real quick, this is for adults only. This is a video one of my followers sent me of a Faikava club in New Zealand. I think the Galapagos Lione, I believe the name is. That's what she allegedly she told me. But I don't, like I said, allegedly. That's what she said. So so this is the video of a Faikava club in New Zealand. And
can I just ask a question?
Go ahead.
What's the purpose of playing this?
No, that we had a great discussion.
Yeah. What's the purpose?
Entertainment. And
got it. That's all I want to know.
I got a show to run. So people, I gotta put
this guy.
I get people to watch this. So if this one makes people come to my channel to watch.
Hey, Will, are you taking any more Zoom callers?
Yeah, somebody just asked.
Yeah, we'll jump on. I don't see nobody on right now. So if you guys want to jump on and say something real quick.
Sina, her name is Sina.
Sina, jump on real
Sina.
quick. And have you jump on. So I'm about to play this video real quick, and I want everybody to go. I want your commentary. Let me know your thoughts. Give me your commentary. Give me your commentary. This is some entertainment for everybody. All right, so I'm gonna play the video right now. I did blur out the video just to let everybody know to make it YouTube friendly for my channel. But the audio is in Tongan. It's in like very graphic language in Tongan, very explicit language. So prepare yourselves for this. All right, so I'm about to share my screen.
Can somebody translate for me?
Leah's going to translate. I
Leah,
want Leah to translate. Like I haven't heard her voice.
Leah, translate. Oh wait, hold up. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second, y'all. All right. There we go. There we
Gotta
go.
make sure it's not my uncle.
And my auntie.
Don't worry, it's blurred. It's blurred. You can't see.
It's worse. Is my.
Go track your genealogy.
All right. All right. Can you guys see it?
The
All
blur,
right.
yes.
That's really blurred.
Yeah. Well, it's gonna pop a little bit. All right.
Hey, Will, before you play, can you send me the unblurred version after?
Oh, got you.
Hey, me too.
Got you. I got you.
The
I got
crazy
you.
part, I've seen this video on TikTok.
Hey, real
It's
quick.
so-
How do you know what the video is already?
It's some girl that's hopping on some guy. I've
bro.
seen it.
Hey, real quick. If you guys want, if you're watching this on live right now and you want the unblurred video, send a super chat donation, and I'll send you the blurred video. All right, let's go. All right.
Will, play it already.
All right. There we go. There we go. Boom.
This is really weird. Yeah, I can tell.
Will, what am I looking at?
Well, there's a girl right here, and her apparently her legs look open. I'm just giving you objective analysis.
Is she doing a strip dance?
Her legs, she's lying down, legs are open, right here.
Oh,
Okay.
got it.
Got you.
Okay.
Got you. All right. And feel free to comment. Feel free to comment, guys. I want to hear some commentary.
I got it.
As you can see here, we have the lions in their natural habitat.
You see, they're prey.
Oh, so they're doing what they do on the Discovery Channel, huh?
Yeah.
Got it.
Oh, I think I see a little snake over there.
Yeah,
It's mating season. It's mating season.
it's mating season.
So she's trying to give her make her attractive. Give her signals. Oh,
Well,
there's a lion.
Notice
There's
as
a
the
Leo.
alpha male presents his dominance.
We're gonna need the unblurred video. I can't see anything.
They're wrestling. This Sunday at WrestleMania, brother, it's going down.
And as you can see, the brown bear is not quite up to snuff and cannot get it down.
I don't even know if that's. Is that
Will.
a baboon? If that's a baboon's butt.
I believe so.
What in the world?
Oh, I think I saw what I saw.
I see
For
the
those of you
lions.
unaware,
Like clear.
for those of you non-Pacific Islander unaware, this is how we get our green card.
Wow.
All right.
Leah,
Okay, the
translate.
last
I
few
can't
seconds
understand
is like-
anything they're saying.
The last few seconds, I did see what I saw. It's yeah, that happened.
All right. So real quick, I got Alex. He just jumped on real quick. I'm gonna add him real quick. He wants to share some thoughts, and then we're gonna conclude the podcast. So
This
let me
is-
add, let me
It's
add Alex.
Alex's kalapu.
Yo, sana malore.
This Sunday at WrestleMania, brother, it's going down.
I
Oh,
want to pause that.
hey, what's up, Alex?
What up, Will?
What's going on, man? Thank you so much. Where you tuning in from?
I'm in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Oh, Las Vegas, Nevada. Go
Hey,
ahead,
I'm
Alex.
that guy's neighbor, Savage.
That's
Go ahead, Alex. What's you want to share some thoughts? What are you thinking?
I just no, I think as a kava drinker and a Faikava guy, I think it's very good that you brought this topic to light, right?
Mm.
Because a lot of we don't control what happens at Faikavas, at Kalapus. It is what it is. But a lot of times we try to sweep a lot of things under the rug. whether it's what happens at Faikava or in our life. We just try to just sweep it under the rug and move on to the next day. But this is something that happens all the time, every week, sometimes every day in people's lives. And so if it's going to keep going on, we need to help the future, right? Prepare and be better.
All right. Hey, thank you so much, Alex.
I really appreciate the topic being brought up, and a lot of people, they come in, like you said, with feelings and emotions instead of the understanding of we can debate and agree to disagree and still move on and be good, right?
All right. Anybody want to respond to Alex? Any of you guys? Go ahead, Savage.
I just wanted to shout out Kalapu Ashy Feet, my brother Alex Inoke right here. Since
This
day
is a live,
one,
this
man.
is a live looking right now. Me and my buddy, we having a call as we speak.
This dude mixes, and when I say mix, this dude is a mixer. He's a mixer, man.
Wait, I have a question. Do you really have ashy feet?
Well, come on.
Of course they do.
So that's
Kani,
the
kani.
reason why I named my Kalapu Ashy Feet, because it sometimes gives me ashy feet. So that's why my Kalapu is Kalapu Ashy Feet.
All right, Alex. Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much for jumping on and sharing your thoughts, man. I really appreciate you, man.
All right.
Drop your addy. I'm gonna send you guys some lotion.
Some coconut. Send us some coconut.
Coconut oil.
No, not even the coconut oil. Just send the coconut. They'll figure it out.
All right. Yes, thank you so much. Yeah, let me know what your thoughts about that raw footage. And yeah, that was yeah. I'll send you, if anybody wants it, I'll send you the explicit version.
Yeah, send it to me.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah. I need it for educational purposes.
Educational purposes. Got you.
To you, educational.
Educational.
Education.
Yeah, definitely learn a lot about lions after watching that video. All right.
Or brown bears.
Brown bears.
Brown bears.
All right. So we come to the conclusion of the podcast. Thank you so much. Number one, to all my panel guests. Thank you so much. Very privileged, very grateful for the opportunity to take your time out of your day to be part of this. I can't say how proud of and how grateful I am for you guys. And thank you for everybody that's watching right now. Thank you for all the likes, and even all the ninja watchers that didn't like the video. Thank you to you as well. He's still watching. But anyway.
Yeah, I didn't like the video. I didn't see anything.
But nevertheless, to conclude the podcast, I just want to ask every guest what you take away from tonight's podcast, and also tell your social media handle so people can follow you and find you. So I'll start off with the ladies. Leah, what you take away from this? What do you take away from tonight's podcast, and how can people find you? Go ahead. Well, Leah.
I guess my biggest takeaway from this is to, like, I've learned a lot from every single one of you, but I know time is, ticking. But what I took away from this was just to remember that everyone is going through a journey of their own. And like, it doesn't matter how old we are. Like, I felt like I had my life together a couple months ago, and then it just like fell apart. Then I feel like I had it together today, and it's going to fall apart. But the thing is to just keep going. And with like the whole Faikava situation is that, like, I believe it's great. It's great for men to go have a community, great for them to go have somewhere where they can talk with other men about things they're going through. They're going through things that we don't know, but it shouldn't come first, and it shouldn't be prioritized over your wife and your children and your career. And I guess you can find me on Facebook or Instagram. And Will has tagged it on there. Yeah. I'm not someone important. I'm just a mom trying to figure out what my life is, and that's it. Thank you for the opportunity.
That's the most important role in our society.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Leah. I think someone in the live chat said you're a baddie, so he wants to find you. Go ahead. All right. All right. Sweet. Same thing. What you take away from this podcast, and how can people find you?
Basically, I took away that I don't need to step on people. I need to take them out, build a bridge of bodies to get to the other side.
All right.
And run across that bitch. No, I'm just kidding. Right. No, I really I really took away from Siausi and Irene a lot, because I think obviously our perspective is important for our generation, but perspective from your guys' generation, and coming from a closed mind to an open mind, it's important for us to hear that. So thank you guys.
All right. How can they find you, Tui?
At King Tui IG. Don't find me on Facebook because I don't use it.
All right. Thank you so much. All right, Malo too. Thank you so much. Irene, same thing. What you take away, and how can they find you, Irene?
I took away the importance of communication and having these conversations. Even there's sensitive topics, but there's so much good that can come from this. And especially the value of listening to the next generation, the younger generation. I really enjoyed listening to Savage and Tui and Leah. Your journeys, everyone's journey is different, but I value listening to the younger voices, because that's the next generation. But you can find me on Instagram, or what you call IG, under Underground Roads. You can find me on TikTok under Underground Roads, and Facebook also.
All right. Thank you so much. All right. Appreciate you, Irene. Also, thank you for bringing the culture and the history lesson. Much needed for me. I enjoyed that part. Thank you so much, Irene. And last but not least, fellas, Savage, what you take away, and how can they find you?
If it matters, you'll find me. I don't want to get my handles out because I'm in a lot of trouble. I'm trying not to get canceled. So I think it's important right now that, if I say anything that's, worth listening to, thank you. But I do want to highlight that not only am I grateful to each and every one of you, I've learned not only more today about, just the culture of Kava then, now, and hopefully in the future, but Kava culture is not bad. It's not far from saving. Faikava, the past ceremonies, the now ceremonies, kalapus, there's nothing wrong. We're just learning. We're trying to fix it as we go. We're still in the young stages right now. We understand the past. We're working on the now, hopefully to build a future for my kids, your kids, so that when they have these social gatherings, that they understand, hey, we went through some rough patches. It wasn't perfect, but we got here. And there's nothing wrong with Kava at all. And I think even right now with these videos and stuff, if I could just suggest one thing, maintain the rules, keep the phones outside of the kalapu, or if you're going to keep the phones, promote the good about your kalapu, not the bad. You want people to come to your kalapu, promote the good things. And hopefully in some way we can regulate that, because I don't want to see this die off. I don't want to see any of our traditions, any of our cultural aspects or customs die off. It's important that we maintain these things. Listening to Siausi and Irene, the one thing I took away was, my mom and my dad, and when they're gone, and what am I going to have left to teach my kids? Sorry if I'm getting emotional, but these things are all we have left. We came to America with nothing. That's just a physical aspect. The knowledge, the information we have now, that spiritual aspect that we brought here, that stays within the Kava, that stays within the Taulunga, that stays within the Faiva. Everything we do as people is important to uphold, and excuse the tears, but it's just passion. I don't want to see this die off. So there's so much more good to go on about this. Excuse me, guys, but malo apito. I love each and every one of you. Thank you guys for having me. Peace and safe journey in your lives. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Savage. Hey, Savage, real quick, if you take away the phones out the Faikava, how can we see the raw footage? That was just
This guy, I swear.
We need some more.
Somebody's gonna make money from
we need some entertainment. It's entertainment at the end of the day. Oh, no, I'm just joking. Nevertheless, last but not least, Siausi, same thing. What takeaway? How can they find you?
Yeah. My takeaway here is exactly what Leah said. Know that we are in our own journey in life. Just know that. And that we shouldn't sit around pointing fingers at people. That we get to be the one that makes the difference in their lives by not pointing fingers and judging who they are, but yet we get to be the one that gets to empower them to see something different in their life. See, I have it that we're the one, and there's nobody else that's coming to save anybody else but we, the one that's willing to have this type of conversation. And it can only happen the way that we get to be in life and the way that we live our life that makes a difference. When we show up in front of people, we get to be the people that we need to be to forward the next generation. And Leah, thank you for saying that out loud. It really makes a difference when we human beings truly get that we are on our own journey. And it's their discovery for who they are and who they could be and who they will end up being that makes a difference, not this shaming stuff. I love you all.
All right. All right. Thank you so much, Elsie. Malo Pito. And last thing for me, I just want to say thank you so much. I think my takeaway from my end is, man, for me, it's just for to have a panel of guests from all different generations, from all different walks of life, from all different opinions, and we can all come here together and express and share opinions. And whether or not we agree to disagree, whether or not we all agree on everything, but we're able to communicate. And that for me, that's so beautiful. And I rarely see this where the elder generation and the younger generation come together and have conversation and have communication and have disagreements, but there's no shaming, there's no negativity, we're not trying to put people down, but we're trying to understand each other to progress and to move forward. And for you guys to take the time out of your day, because I know you guys are all busy lives, to help progress that within our community. I think that's one thing I love about this conversation, and not only hear from the men, but also hear from the women as well. So the ladies, thank you so much for joining, the fellas. But everybody, thank you so much. I just had the most amount of likes ever in the video, so we got 17 likes. But nevertheless,
hey, take down
Was
your
it 20?
progress. Maybe next time, hey guys, I'm telling you, next time if you get the likes up, we're all gonna do something. But thank you so much for watching. Thank you guys for tuning in. Much love to you guys. And we do this every single Wednesday, every single show. So if you love the content, like and subscribe, and see you guys next week.